Nilikwambia weka hapa kituka, ulichoka? Nasuka. Kanda usilale. Alright guys. Uliangalia dirisha iko closed? Dirisha, window, the window. Okay. It's closed. Here, the windows. Okay. Alright guys, welcome to another episode of our moment. And I've recalled somebody asked for a vlog on a lesson. I just must check later. And there was also someone who asked for a reaction towards Uganda politics. I think I'll do it tomorrow. So let me promise so that before I forget, I've planned ahead my day. So tomorrow I'm going to do a reaction towards Nyabohanse political. And then I must do a political towards Uganda and another country. At the same time, I must do a lesson because I've received those requests from some of the subscribers, and I really honor you people. You are very important people in my life because it's as a result of you that I'm actually getting to move ahead. We normally say like that, we move ahead. So in political news, of course, people are questioning where Samia has gone to. And from some of the information we get from different people, it is indicated that she's actually been evacuated to somewhere. And that is after she saw what the situation was, and there is fear about something, but there was a sudden swearing in. We'll come to that after talking about Kenya partly, because in Kenya there's a lot of drama, political drama going on. And I don't know how the president takes this, but I'm looking at the situation whereby there has been a 2-month strike for universities. Universities are the pinnacle of elites in a country. And therefore, if universities have not functioned for 2 months, what is going on? And remember, higher education is something someone wants to pursue, maybe 2 years or 4 years, and you go away, look for jobs. So it is so unfortunate that we've been seeing strikes maybe just happening in one university, but currently there's been strike for a long time, yet students are supposed to be on campus. When they waste time and they're free, some of them will be married, they'll even have babies, and some are even frustrated because they had already paid houses, rented houses in which they are living. So of course today in news, you haven't missed something to do with this. Let's follow this before we come back to KHALAWALE, SALASYA, Mtheu, and many others. Welcome to edutainment for us. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Like the video and keep commenting. Thank you so much. So let's start with the university students who are decrying the government for the prolonged strike that is affecting the academic progress. Remember, education, they say, is for a season and for a reason. But then what is going to happen to these young people if strikes are going to interfere? And these are not strikes in one campus, but across the country because of something the government and the lecturers are not having an agreement on. So what is the ultimate end? How long will this take? So let's look into this.
Calendar, respect the lecturers' commitments, uphold the sanctity of education in preparing citizens, and most importantly, respect the future of Kenya's youth.
The strike has paralyzed learning across public universities, denying thousands of students their right to education. The prolonged disruption threatens our academic progress, future careers.
Why is it so hard that you cannot fund our lecturers? You cannot give them whatever they deserve. So coming to the issue at hand about the Nyota Fund, kama unaweza fund this thing about the nyota, why can't you also do the same thing to our lecturers?
Wanafunzi wanarandaranda kwa sababu hawana cha kufanya. Jambo la tatu, wazazi wetu hawana amani, hawajua wanafunzi wanasoma ama wanafanya vitu zao. The lecturers strike has affected us as students. Most of the final students, we are very much affected. Students who are supposed to go to the attachment are also affected. And my opinion is that the government should not pay half.
All right, so that is how the female students had to react today, sharing that it's unfortunate the government can sponsor some things such as State House visits. They can also sponsor things to do with the Nyota fund and so many other things we've seen that were never planned for, but they are they are finding it so difficult to raise the salaries. This is one of the problem in Kenya, actually, even when teachers strike, and they are simply asking for an addition of 5,000 each. It looks like it's so much difficult, but at the end of the day, when you look at the distribution of money, such as maybe 10,000 being given to people who visit State House, that's a lot of money, actually. And this is just being given randomly. So you wonder, where are the priorities of the government, you know? It's so surprising, it's so saddening, and it's so shocking to see a country operating like this. And we hope that our leaders actually see the fate of citizens. You know, sometimes people don't care because their children are not studying in Kenya. You know, most leaders have their children studying in Germany, America, and wherever. There are very few leaders who can tell us that their children are in Kenyan universities. And that is the reality. The reason why they don't care when they see even strikes happening, and even when they go to parliament, they talk about it as if it's just something that is neither there nor there. It's because most of them have their children studying abroad, and they don't give a damn about what is happening to the children of other people, especially the poor people who are suffering and trying to rely on their own kids. Anyway, that's one thing that has actually passed. But the lecturers also demanded for very high pay, and they needed 7.9 billion Kenyan shillings. So let's get to a different subject, and that is about some of the talks that I just watched during the day. And I was closely following ODM while in Mombasa. I also followed closely KHALAWALE, SALASYA, and the rest of them while they are in Malava. So the campaigns on the by-elections have become so lethal that we have the exchange of citizens, or rather some of the leader representatives who have been there. So let's just check on some of the videos here and see what they are saying. So you can see actually in Kenya, UASU has rejected the government's offer to pay 7.9 billion in two sections. You see, like if they have to pay twice in two, different durations, they don't want that. They just want it to be done once. So they don't want the half pay. And you can see that students are also supporting that. And it's not common. In past, we've seen students saying that let them receive and come back. But here, now students are saying differently. So let's now check on the roll on tapes. Sophie Awinja, hi, welcome. And thank you so much for being here. You are the first person to chat as the top fan number 1. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. We hope for the best in the country, actually, whether it's education, whether it's health, or any other part of our development. All right, so let's check on some of the speeches that were rolling during the day in different places in Kenya, and we are beginning with Malava. So Malava had very controversial conversations from KHALAWALE. We had Salasya, PK, and many other leaders. Now KHALAWALE was insisting that they have to support a member from his Kosigan elect. Welcome. And I was just listening carefully, and I was saying, what is the argument here? Anyway, let's get to it before I can discuss this. I want you to see it first before I can discuss. So let's get here. I think it was this video here, right here. Give me some 2 minutes or 3. Don't be impatient with me so that I show up. what the video was all about. Okay, I think it's this one here. Na yangu inakufa na niko on yao. What will we do? Simu itazima. All right, so let's check on this video here. Why am I taking long? Oh, it's because I did thumbnails and I kept checking on some videos of the past. So it has pushed my videos right away, but I know I'll get them. So, Savia Maroots, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. Let me check slowly by slowly. I get to this. I don't want to rush. Will you sit down? Or you won't get tired? You will get tired. Yeah, so just sit because you can see. Can't you watch? Yeah, so of course, as Atwoli, for example, Atwoli has been fully supporting the government, the broad-based government. On the other hand, we have people who are different. Farouk Kibet has been attacked in most of the speeches by different people at Malava. So I want to start with MP Malulu. What did he say? Here we have MP Malulu. What is happening? MP Malulu, what am I saying? MP Malulu passed on. But I just want to check KHALAWALE. Yeah, here it is.
Write anything, just 2 photos.
Wow.
Ikiwa serikali ya UDA ilituibia kura ya Ryan, efuadani leo mkulima kumerama kinga kutia fukute. Wajana na so wanawanje edika karibu sana. Tutatembea, tumeamua. Kura hilo ni kura yuko kwa mtu.
The network is very poor. What is happening? Lazima kubwa ndio kule nafasi ile kwanza kusema asante sana kwa mheshimiwa wetu ambaye ni mheshimiwa wetu Lazaro kwa kutukaribisha siku ya leo, na pia kwa ku make a deliberate decision ya kwamba kusupport mheshimiwa Seif Panyako. Mimi nataka kuchukua pia hii nafasi kushukuru mheshimiwa Mwanga Mtheu kwa kusema ya kwamba wakuje pamoja na mheshimiwa Seif Panyako ili ya kwamba to make sure kwamba we are winning this thing. Na pia kushukuru mheshimiwa Cleophas Malala kwa kusimama na kupia kusema ya kwamba lazima tukue na Seif Panyako. Na mwisho zaidi kusema asante kwa mheshimiwa wetu, mheshimiwa chama chetu cha DAP, mheshimiwa Eugene kwa kusimama imara, kwa sababu nilijua ya kwamba mheshimiwa Seif Panyako amepigwa vita sana. All right, so a lot of members gathered here in this meeting, including Boniface KHALAWALE, Natembeya, Cleophas Malala, Salasya, among other political leaders. And all they were trying to push is the narrative for Seif Panyako. The last time elections were in Malava, of course, while Malala was number 1, Safe was number 2. So they are trying to push the narrative of having him win and declaring themselves against the narrative that Farouk has been bringing. Now, people have been talking about tribalism, that now this one goes to ethnicity, all right? So people are campaigning based on ethnic grounds, and I don't know how safe is this, or how do you see this? Because actually the politics of Malava are now going into ethnic groups, and they are trying to say that here we must replace this with this. Although Malava is actually majorly Luya, and we have few people from Rift Valley, the pronunciation of Farouk in the press, talking about leadership in this place has not been so pleasant to some of the leaders. And you've heard that mentioned by KHALAWALE. Let's just first begin by what Eugene Wamalwa says before we go to KHALAWALE. I don't know why their network was very poor. Their network was quite poor, but let me hope that I can find another one that is better.
Alisema hakusema. Ninyi mkiangalia hawa vijana wenu, sisi tunakaa kama hatuna akili. Ukiona huyu Senator Boni KHALAWALE, he's a doctor of medicine. Amesoma kuliko hata hiyo vitu ya Ruto. Sijui huyu jamaa alisomea nini. Ati mambo ya masafu hivi. Ukiona huyu Edgar Busieka, huyu ni wakili. Wamalwa wakili. Huyu ni mwanaume bwana. Haina maana kama tarika. Yeye ndiye ana challenge Boni KHALAWALE the bullfighter. Huyu ni mwanaume kamili. Wewe uchukue mwanaume kama huyu Lazaro. Ako na mabibi zake 3. Unaambia ati Lazaro akuchezee dance apenduke. Male ya Oburu ya. Bali mbako uimawe ohina, no yuga ohina, no yuga ohina.
Oh my God, Andy Ndlovu, I saw you here. I think it's like 1 week ago, you watched me at some point. I remember that name, unless I'm confused. And Andile Ndlovu asks, why good things happen to those who don't believe? I think it's because God plans for us, not us planning for God. Sometimes we may praise so much. I remember, if I may talk about it, I remember the time I was really struggling with YouTube. I trained somebody to start YouTube and they began to earn very fast. Whereas I had really praised so much and was doing a lot, but I just discovered that my time is not up. Until recently, that is when my channel was monetized. So maybe God has plans for us, but we never know. We always praise or push so much when it's not time. That's what I can tell you, Andile Ndlovu. So maybe whatever you're going through, just trust that a time will come when you will have a solution for that. That's what I can say for now. So thank you so much, Sophia Awinja again. Kosigan-elect Savia Marut, Andile Ndlovu, Deudone Bitabavuma. Karibu sana. Bitabavuma, unatoka Rwanda nini? Jina lile linakaa kama rafiki yangu mwingine Rwanda, who used to watch me on the platform. Na alikuwa anasema tupunguze Kiingereza, tuseme Kiswahili kiasi. So welcome. So you can see Eugene actually attacking indirectly Farouk. Farouk has been making people dance for him, including Millie Ojambo and many others. And he once directed men to dance for him. So he's attacking that. You know, in politics, people actually use situations like that to talk against someone. And he's just indirectly talking about this guy, in reference to what happened at some point in Kenyan politics. Anyway, let's get to KHALAWALE. If I may find him, I don't know. Let me see whether I can find KHALAWALE speaking. Where did he speak? Where is KHALAWALE? KHALAWALE aliongea wapi? Who is speaking here? This is Malala Cleophas.
Tuwache watoto wa jamii yake ya Wasonde wamalizishe. Mimi nilikuja nikakaa na vijana wawili
Ray Gibson, welcome.
Ya jamii ya Wasonde. Nikakaa na ndugu yangu Ryan Injendi, mtoto wa Malulu. Nikakaa na huyu Edgar. Nikawaambia, hii ni vijana wawili, hamuwezi pigana na mnatoka kwa nyumba moja. Tukakubaliana hao waende kwa vyama tofauti, waende watafute tikiti ya vyama zao. Ryan alienda kwa chama cha UDA, kile ambacho baba yake alikuwa. Vile alifika kule, yule mtu ambaye alimdhulumu, yule mtu ambaye alimnyang'anya, sababu mnajua yule mtu alishinda UDA nomination, alikuwa mwingine. Mtu ambaye alimnyang'anya alikuwa Mudavadi.
That is Malala Cleophas for you. Malala is blaming Mudavadi for actually outdoing Ryan, the son of Malulu. Then Anlund Lovu says, I was reading Psalm 73. Okay. I will encourage you to read a lot of the Bible, and as well, just check on prayer every day and hope for the best. Ray Gibson says, by friend, I have to actually refresh my network, then continue. So be patient, don't go away, please, because we are going to be here for 1 hour or more. And continue liking the video as I proceed to just upscale my network, then I'm coming back. Okay, so I've done something on the network, so let's proceed, because when we are taking 1 hour, we need a very good network. So thank you so much for being patient with me, for those who are patient. And Ndovu says, but God is good. Yeah, God is good all the time. And only sometimes we have to wait upon the time. I came to learn this in life. Sometimes I used to pray so much, but I realized it's not us who decide about our life. God sometimes defines and molds our life. So Malala kept speaking in that sitting. And he kept saying that he's supporting Panyako Safe. Na nini yenye kama chaji rudisha
huyo mtu nitamkibisha kwa hii miwa, anatoka hapa Isheke. Aende asiende, apotee asipotee. Jambo la pili, ningependa kuhakikishia na mnisikie kwamba nyinyi hamjapoteza. Mimi Cleophas Malala nikiwa kwa meza, mimi ufikiria watu wangu. Hata Musalia Mudavadi na Wetangula ndio waingie Fort Ruto, mimi ndio niliwapeleka pale. Wakati nilikuwa nimekaa kwa hiyo meza ya kuongea na kusema huyu Edgar Busiega awachie Panyako, hapana mjura. Nilisema Edgar kuja, wewe wachie Panyako.
Okay, so so you can see Malala is actually suggesting how he has been sacrificing to make sure that everything is well for his community. And here he's justifying the narrative of Edgar leaving the position for Panyako. So of course in politics, sometimes someone steps down for another person just to allow them to get to office, and maybe they'll be given a kickback. That is what I understand about politics. Okay, so Khalawale also spoke here and Natembea spoke. I'm trying to get where specific minute where they spoke. But what I know, it was fire, you know. Like every politician wanted to prove something. With Salasya actually bringing some fun and others coming here to say what they had to say. This is Mala. This is Malala. I want Bonnie Halwale. This is Eugene. I want to see. Where is Bonnie Halwale? I saw Bonnie Halwale speaking very strongly in one of the videos. And Halwale is here. And Halwale went to attack Farouk, rejecting his presence. What's happening?
The politics of Kenya has changed forever. Kwa maana mzazi wakona wanaongongoma wila chukua ni mbaya dawa.
What was wrong with the capturing of this news? Actually, when you look at what so Halwale actually went pointing out at Oparanya and many other leaders, indicating that regardless of everything, okay, regardless of everything, they respect him, but they wanted him to also respect the politics of Malava. Now let's just look at Halwale and Natembeya. That's what I wanted us to look at. Then we go to the politics of ODM at Mombasa. If you looked at them, actually you saw what was there. Let me look at this. What is happening? The silence? What's happening? Achike Emejulu, welcome. So, of course, that was Natembeya at Malava trying to jeer the crowd and make sure that they are going to vote for the member whom they are focused on, that is Panyako. At the same time, we had Halwale campaigning for Panyako. And I don't know, maybe this will have an impact towards him.
If you don't fear the nation, you must also fear me. You must also fear George Natembeya. In the name of Kenya, mbunge ya Kenya, hakuna mbunge hata mmoja anaweza jibu mimi. Hakuna. George Natembeya
najua wanakuinda. Juzi wakakushtaki ati wewe umepatikana na shilingi milioni 1.2 1.2 million. Yani mtu wewe kama George na Tembea huyu uwe kama Khalwale kweli ukose kuwa na milioni 1? Sisi watu wa Malava tunazalisha bilioni 2 kila mwaka ambayo inaitwa SES. Hii SES inaenda kule Kakamega, wajamaa wanararua huko.
So in the process of the speeches, of course, they were calling Wetangula someone who is foul, Kora, that is in the other language. Now, when we focus on politics, I want you to look at what Atwoli has been one person that has really led KOTU for very long. I wonder whether he thinks that he should be there forever. He's not prepared to retire. And so he was speaking against Natembeya and declaring full support to Ruto's candidate in Malava. All right? These are politics for you. So I want you to explore this before we now come back to ODM and check into it. We are now already 32 minutes down the line. We still have 28 minutes. So look at this. Francis.
Awasalimie, sinio? Atwoli awasalimie.
Now, actually, it's very funny that the president can come to the grassroots to look for votes for their members in their parties. And this tells you how these by-elections are very important in the Kenyan politics, because they are going to define in one way or the other something to do with 2027. No wonder Ruto had to come down to Malava to actually campaign for this guy he is standing for. So let's check on this and hear what Atwoli will say.
Sisi mnasikia, sisi tukiwa na Mudavadi, tukiwa na Wetangula, tukiwa na Oparanya, tukiwa na mawaziri wetu, na kuna wabunge wetu akina Waluke, na kuna ma-PS wako hapa, wale Ruto amepatia kazi, watoto wa Luhya. Ala ukisikia watu wakiwa kwa opposition wanataka kwenda kwa serikali, si namna hivyo? Sisi Waluhya tuko ndani ya serikali na mtu asimdanganye, na bado tuko na mwaka moja. Ruto atakuwa na miaka ingine tena mbele huko zinazokuja. Ukifanya hapa makosa utaingia kwa ofisi ya nani? Ni lazima tarehe 27 usimame nyuma ya Ruto. Mimi nimekuwa kwa public life for 58 years. Mimi ndio mzee nimebaki.
KOTU has been ruled by this guy forever. This is a conservatist, someone who does not want to get out of power. So, is he the right person to campaign for anybody? Is he the right person to address individuals? Is he really selfless? Those are the questions I'm raising. Because actually this guy has amassed a lot of wealth, constructed a lot of homes, and really changed his life, married even young women. I don't have any problem with that, but when I look at his poshy life, it's being financed by workers in Kenya, and yet sometimes he does not defend their rights at all. And he's the one coming with Ruto to campaign for an individual in Malava. I don't know what individuals think about this, but for me, I don't think it was something worthwhile. Anyway, I'm told they were coming to launch Malava Summit in Navaholo Road. I don't know whether it was tarmacked. The last time I was there, that road was looking like a farm. I hope they maintain it, because the road was very, very terrible. It was in a terrible state. And even at some point, people had to plant some bananas on the road. Anyway, now let's turn to Mombasa and look at what most individuals shared. So in Mombasa, of course, we had the Azimio meeting, And on Azimio, we had a lot of news going on. Among them, it was the news related to Raila Odinga. And of course, now they have forgotten about that, but they were focusing on the party. And one of the areas they were focusing on is helping Oburu speak. And SIFUNA had also to speak, among others. Now, Mama Zamzam had also to speak, and Ruth Odinga. So let's begin with what Ruth Odinga said. She didn't have much to say, but this is what she said.
To the party leader, and all protocols observed, watu wa Mombasa, sioni sisikii.
Kata tu vile umemkatia. Kwa kubwa sana umemkatia.
Asanteni sana. Kwa majina naitwa Ruth Odinga. Mimi ndio dada ya baba. Mimi ndio kitinda mimba. Na sasa mimi ndio nilikuwa na yeye. First of all, nawapigia pole sana. Kila mtu poleni. Najua vile mnasikia. Sio sisi mnatupigia pole sisi peke yetu, hata nyinyi najua mmeumia. Kenya imeumia, dunia imeumia. Lakini baba alienda, mimi nilikuwa na yeye, alienda na nguvu yake. As a soldier. He never got sick, he was not down. He walked when he collapsed, and we took him to the hospital. And he went very peacefully. We can say uda kuja ama ikuwe pati yawa wengine wakuje kwetu, but we must go to that table strong. Kama tunaenda huko strong, hatutakuwa na party. Hatutakuwa hata na mabiti. Hata ukiingia anywhere, you have to have the people who are yours. Your soldiers are there, and you guys are our foot soldiers. Msidanganywe. Party ni hapa, sisi ndio party. ODM is going to remain strong. The party leader here is a very fair party leader that we have. He is going to look after everybody. Hakuna kushika mkono. God bless you all.
So I was actually surprised that for once, Ruth Odinga actually changed her narrative. During the funeral of her brother, when she gave the speech, she was proving that ona kwani omena ni ya mtu mmoja. Unajua hiyo omena ili all right, guys. So Ruth Odinga changed her narrative. Previously, she had talked about the aspect of ODM party having started by some few people before the rest joined. Now today she changed the narrative. Anyway, let's hope for the best, because she said that the party is now for many people. She even mentioned that in the party we have Turkana people there and different people from all over the places. I hope they'll make the party strong, because ODM was almost dying. From my analysis, that's what I was thinking. It was almost dying. Now let's get to see what Oburu said. Or should we start with what Oburu spoke here?
For just $49, you can create unlimited, hyper-realistic live-action videos like these. ODM. ODM. Salam alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Asanteni. Asante. Thank you. Ndugu zangu ndugu na madada na viongozi wote, mimi leo nina furaha tele kufika mbele yenu. Hii ndiyo siku yangu ya kwanza kufika hapa Mombasa baada ya kuteuliwa na kamati yetu ya executive NEC kuwa acting party leader baada ya kupoteza ndugu yetu Raila Amolo Odinga. Huyu ndugu yetu alikuwa ni kama sio ndugu peke yake, alikuwa confidant yangu, alikuwa rafiki yangu, experience ya kutosha ya kuongoza. Nimekuwa kiongozi kwa nchi hii kwa miaka na miaka. Mimi nilianza kuwa councillor Kisumu 1974 to 79. Tena elected, sio nominated. Na nimekuwa elected na wananchi Bondo huko 4 times. Nimekuwa nominated once. Na sasa nikawa member ya Yala. Na mimi sasa nina serve term yangu ya 7th term katika bunge ya Kenya. Na kwamba tukifanya hivyo tutafaulu zote. Na kwa hivyo asanteni sana kwa kuja. Sasa hiyo ndio msimamo. Tusimame gangari, tuimarishe chama yetu, tuendelee kuwa na umoja na sisi tutafaulu. Sisi zote tutafaulu. Kwa hivyo mimi nimekuja.
Of course, so Oburu Odinga emphasized on unity of their party. And with that emphasis, Sifuna stood to speak again to affirm what he said during the funeral. And this is what he had to say.
ODM. ODM. Mheshimiwa kinara wetu ambaye pia ni senator wa Siaya, Daktari Oburu Oginga, ndugu yangu governor hapa Mombasa, Abdulswamad Sharif, viongozi wenzangu wote ambao wamefika hapa, wabunge na maseneta, na nyinyi ambao ni viongozi wa mashinani wa chama chetu cha ODM, assalamu alaikum. Kwanza kabisa, kwa sababu ni mara yangu ya kwanza kuona nyuso zenu baada ya sisi kumpoteza baba, nataka nichukue fursa hii kwa niaba yangu mwenyewe, kwa niaba ya makao makuu ya chama cha ODM, niwape pole zangu na nyinyi kwa kumpoteza kiongozi wenu. Najua kwamba baba alikuwa anawapenda sana, si siri. Kwanza tulikuwa tunasikia wivu sana wengine wetu, kwa sababu kila wakati baba akipata fursa kidogo anatorokea Mombasa, anakuja kukaa na nyinyi. Alikuwa anaweza kusema ni chama kikubwa zaidi hapa katika kanda hii yetu. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie wanachama wote wa ODM, nilivyosema katika mazishi ya baba, mimi Sifuna nitafanya kila lililoko katika uwezo wangu kuhakikisha kwamba chama hiki kinasalia pamoja na kinaweza kudumu hata zaidi ya miaka 20 mingine ambayo kwa mbele yetu atitushinde. Mimi najua tukiamua leo hii ya kwamba tunamsimamisha party 2027, watu wanaenda nyumbani. Tukiamua tunasimamisha huyo Abdulswamad, tukiamua tunasimamisha huyo Abdulswamad ama deputy party leaders wale wengine wote, tutashinda huo uchaguzi. Mukisema SG wenu wasimame kura 2027, hiyo uchaguzi tunashinda tena mapema. So nasikia kuna watu wanazunguka wakisema ati ni baba pekee alikuwa anaweza.
So of course Sifuna just reiterated on statements he gave in the funeral, and at the same time he was emphasizing the fact that the team or the party should look for a member who will vie for the elections in 2027. Okay. Apart from these people, there was also a speech from Mama Zamzam. Let's listen from a woman.
Nimpe dakika moja wasalimu alafu nimualike gavana, si ndio?
Odinga tunampa pongezi kubwa sana na ana imani ataweza kuongeza party. Kwa heshima ya deputy party leader Abdulswamad Sharif Nasir, wabunge wenzangu na dadangu nampenda wifi yangu Ruth Odinga, mama wa nguvu wa pale Kisumu, na wanachama wa ODM, hamjambo tena. Mimi nataka tu kukukoteza na kwanza niweze kumpongeza party leader. Najua ni jukumu kubwa ambalo liko kwa mgongo wake, na niweze pia kutoa pole zangu nyingi sana kwa kumpoteza mpendo wetu baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Alikuwa nguzo kubwa sana kwetu, na najua ile spirit yake.
So Zamzam still emphasized that the spirit of ODM will rely on Baba Raila Odinga for success. I don't know what you feel about this. And of course, the governor of Mombasa said that the party was not meant to be opposition forever. Now, with that statement, I don't know what he meant. Should they hold on broad-based? But Sifuna asked them clearly that there is no party known as broad-based, and there is no brand that represents them. There is no way they'll remain to be broad-based because they need to go seek for position in their own brand. Now, actually, we have to understand also why is Babu missing here. But the other day we heard that Babu had a secret meeting with Oburu Odinga. Let's just check on something here. That he had a secret meeting with Oburu Odinga, and I want you to see this.
Embarrassment to the ODM party. I am glad that Oburu Odinga is making the right steps to reach out to Babu Owino. The next person Oburu Odinga should work very closely with is none other than Edward SIFUNA.
All right, so that was a secret meeting between Babu and Oburu Odinga, and people have celebrated that because they know now Oburu Odinga is on the right course. Anyway, let's get back to Tanzania, Tanzanian politics. So guys, Tanzania, Samia SuLUHU was finally announced today as having won in the elections in Tanzania with almost, is it 31 million and some thousands, 100,000 voters. And that was so funny because in the first place, all members of Tanzania, that is the registered voters, never went to vote. And again, the reality is that if they never turned up, how did this number come to be when polling stations had almost nothing? I remember the day SuLUHU went to actually vote. The polling station was almost empty, if you checked. But then it came out that he was announced as the landslide winner. But that's a con game, okay, if we look at that. Now, I wanted us to see something here, a kind of analysis Dr. Barak Muluka was raising here.
It will either explode in President William Ruto's face or in the face of the next president or the one after. But it's going to explode.
It's going to happen.
What we are doing in this country today, people thinking that leadership is about self-enrichment. And that self-enrichment is through theft from public coffers. It is unsustainable. The sons and daughters of these people are going to be disgraced, exiles and refugees in the cold lands of this world. When that happens, leaders, people who think about the nation on the one hand, and the people who think about themselves on the other hand, to distinguish between the two and to decide that we are the speeches on Sunday in Bondo. The distinction was very clear. First developed the ambition for leadership. When I first developed the ambition for leadership, he did not say, when I first developed a vision to serve the people. When I first developed the vision to lead, he said, when I first developed the ambition suppress voter turnout. They open up borders so that foreigners from other countries can come and register as nationals and register as voters. When that kind of person is in office and he calls himself democratically elected, I think that is hugely questionable. Equally questionable is the style of governance, because democracy is not just about casting votes. Democracy is about management of public affairs. How are you managing public affairs? What kind of laws are being...
All right, so I like listening to Herman Manyora, Barack Muluka, among other individuals. And what I can get from their, whatever they say, it's clear that leadership is not actually forced. Leadership is supposed to be acquired. Now, when you look at what is happening in Tanzania, equally maybe in other countries, Ray Gibson is here, welcome. Then you come to understand some realities about politicians and leaders. And not just the leaders at the top as president, but even the rest of the leaders at the bottom. So I would wish maybe as a voter, you really have to be careful and look around before you decide who to vote for or why you should vote for so and so. Anyhow. When you look at SuLUHU situation, though they have announced a landslide, a kind of voter turnout, and given us those figures, how true is this, if I may ask? What do you believe? You know? And of course, it is being indicated that immediately after a quick private con kind of swearing in, she has had to seek help from either Kenya or Uganda. They are not telling exactly where. They are not telling exactly where she is, because you know what it means. Anything can happen. So she had to rush very fast to a different destination so that we don't have a coup. You know, once she swears herself in, even if the army wanted to conduct a coup and she's already sworn in, it may not happen. So let's see this. Though 3 days ago, remember, SuLUHU was found with marked ballot papers. So even in saying that the election she won, it's a sham election, and all of us know that. So let's look at this, for example.
Killing. She's even worse than Ruto. I've always said 800,000.
Now look at this. This is how the results were reflecting for Samia. Mshindi wa kiti cha rais, Dr. Samia. And then jumla ya kura halali alizopata milioni 31,913,866. Kura za kati ya kura halali 32,678,844. So the percentage of win was 97.66. Can you imagine? And I think I saw the registered voters, they are not even up to this number. So I don't know how they came up with this, but it's such a sham. Ray Gibson says lots of these leaders give them salt to the devil. Yeah, they do. They do give their souls to the devil. That's why they are malicious. They are very vicious. They don't care whatever happens, even to citizens. Even if there is blood pouring, they don't really care about it. Canadian prospect is her and Kim join and are the only ones with such percentages. Yeah, can you imagine? I've never seen an election whereby the percentages are as reflected right there. Now, the unfortunate bit is that when Tunduli was arrested this moment, the Tanzanians just kept quiet, you know. When he was arrested, people kept quiet. And this was the undoing, because you don't wait until someone is arrested, elections are done, then you begin to riot. And I don't know, even though Tanzanian, youth are saying that whatever they did in the last, Ray Gibson says Jamaica. I'm so fine this evening. I'm very fine. Thank you for your concern. I hope you're fine too. Canadian Prospect, I hope you're so fine. And Ray Gibson says Jamaica. I really love Jamaican politics. The way they went, it was not such a, an extreme like what we've seen in Tanzania. So, I don't know why it happened that the Gen Z never actually revolted then. They just waited until recently for them to go to the streets. So demonstrating after elections, and then SuLUHU was announced today as the winner, and then there was a private swearing moment, and then after that, of course, she would just leave the country and wait until things cool down and things proceed. Ray Gibson says, do you hear what happened to Jamaica? Yeah, I did hear, and I talked about it. Of course, even when you look at my my channel, I did a post to say sorry to them. And also I did a reaction to that. If you look at my video which says why Jamaica, Tanzania, and Cote d'Ivoire are on the limelight, check on my video, you'll see that I did a video on Jamaica and the natural disaster that is there. We are so sorry about it, and we wish that God will replenish them and place them in a better position than before. Because Jamaica is a lovely land, but with the natural disaster, sometimes it really destroyed most of the houses, led to displacement and all that, and it was unfortunate. So may God actually replenish you. Yeah. Oh, I'm from Jamaica, but I don't live in Jamaica. Even though you don't live there, automatically it will affect maybe your family members or your friends. So we hope for the best. Steve, hello. Where are you from? I'm from Kenya. Of course, I've said several times. Steve, you seem to be new. Please subscribe to the channel before you go. Like the video also. I'm from Kenya, actually. So there was a private swearing in moment for SuLUHU today. And it was quickly done just to make sure that before she leaves Tanzania, everything is already in place. Okay. So let me just see whether I'll find a video to show that. If I don't, forgive me. Has broken the barrier of non-demonstration norm. Yeah, we never expected this of Tanzania. And of course, SuLUHU herself, the reason why she was so dictatorial, she knew that it was an easy way for Tanzania, because she has always seen them as people who don't even think. She didn't know that the youth would be acting on the streets. And that is why previously when the Kenyan rights people went there, she was trying to say that the only thing is that Kenyans are trying to mess up their own young people. But I think that was a wrongful, assumption to make. Yeah. So this, even though she's the first woman to ever lead in Tanzania, having been born in 1960 in a Muslim family, and having been a minister in Zanzibar's government, she has messed big time. And I don't know, even though they have really decided she will be sworn in after the winning privately, what is clear is that she has also had to escape from Tanzania after that. Possibly she's in Kenya or Uganda, you can never know. They cannot reveal that information openly, but we'll be getting this with time. Because automatically, that kind of leadership will not be very good for anybody. Okay. Yeah. So even as Samia runs away for diplomatic assistance, the Tanzanians have said they're not stopping. The youth have declared that the first part was just the tips of an iceberg, but they are going on and on and on. Look at this. I just want you to see this.
The electoral body only had 72 hours to complete the process of announcing 72 hours. But going by the details, it had to be announced in the morning because 72 hours had already elapsed. So if any delay, then the military was going to take over the leadership of the nation. Now, you know what that means. It means
yeah, so of course, while we had expected that there would be a military coup, SuLUHU had to run very fast and be sworn in privately. But even after being sworn in, she had to run away to, as it's being said, they are saying she's in Kenya, we don't know, or Uganda, none of us knows. And because people still continue to demonstrate, because they said whether they swear her in or not, we are still continuing. That is the situation.
stability. Sources close to the conversation reveal that Ruto encouraged SuLUHU to open dialogue with opposition leaders, while Mtheu reportedly advised firmness in maintaining order.
Yeah, so we have two controversial voices. While the president of Kenya advised Samia to have dialogue with the opposition, we had Museveni who told her to be firm. You know, Museveni is a dictatorial leader, so he cannot advise anybody to actually relax. And of course, I'll be doing a video tomorrow to show you Museveni style, because someone urged me to do a video on Ugandan politics. All right? So I think we should end here. I've taken almost 1 hour, 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And I need to come to an end because tomorrow is another day. We still have lots of things to cover. Nasoro Magwandi, welcome. Please like the video because we are yet to just close it down. Unless there is a question or a comment someone wants to drop. I think we've discussed a lot, starting with Kenyan politics and ending with Tanzanian politics. So tomorrow we'll be looking more into other things surrounding Uhuru Kenyatta and Mtheu. Oh, I had forgotten something about Mtheu. Let me share it out before we go. Ebo Kwikiriza, welcome so much here. So let's check on Mtheu. People had been saying that Mtheu is being has been appointed by Ruto as the CS. Now let's see something here. So you've seen that letter, dear Mr. Abdi Ahmed Mohamed, requesting for vetting of nominees. In line with our constitutional mandate to ensure transparency and integrity in the appointment of high-ranking public officials, we hereby submit a list of individuals nominated for cabinet positions with the request for vetting. Please review. And then the names were there. John Muhia, Edwin Sifuna, Naisula Josephine, and Godwin Kipselei Towet Moi. So that was the list. Of course, I was hearing this and I wanted to wait for real communication, or rather some very much clear information. So that is Mtheu for you. Mtheu, not Mtheu, Mtheu. So Mtheu, who had been actually appointed, what was his response?
Number one, Senator Mtheu, the top of the top on that pile, has already discredited it in this tweet, and I quote. So Mtheu has already designated.
So Mtheu had to actually reject that. He said waziri wa huduma za kumfukuza kidhinji. So Senator Mtheu Muhia is not interested in that position. According to him, that position ni ya kumfukuza kidhinji. I don't know what Sifuna has said so far.
As a CS, na anasema yeye ni waziri wa huduma za kumfukuza kidhinji, and he has placed an image of himself while shaven. That's a very witty response right there. So that's confirmation number one. Now the second reason why this letter is fictitious is because of the inclusion of SIFUNA. You see, if SIFUNA stops serving as Secretary General of ODM and goes on to become a CS, he won't be of any benefit to them.
All right. I saw people asking yesterday whether CS, whether SG ODM had also been appointed into the office of Ruto. Of course, you've seen that list, but it looks very funny. It possibly was created, a very vague script that was created by somebody. So Sifuna cannot actually skip from SG ODM and go serve as part of CS in government. You heard him speak today in Mombasa, and he clearly said there is nothing known as broad-based organization. All we have is ODM party, UDA party, and so many other parties. So thank you very much for being here. Ebo Kwirikiza,